We must admit we are tribal before we can deal with the problem. Chairman of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, Francis Ole Kaparo, says tribalism, discrimination and marginalization as experienced in the old order may have also been devolved with the new constitution.
That, he says, this leads to the anarchy experience in places like Mpeketoni and Mandera. He also wants the national government to deliberately address ethnic imbalance in public appointments. KTN senior reporter Ferdinand Omondi sat down with him to get an insight on how he intends to deal with polarization. Yeah, excerpts from that interview.
As NCIC, how will you promote ethnic diversity and try and water down the tribalism that has killed this country to this moment?
First thing we must do is to actually admit reality. Because unless you admit reality, you will not tackle the problem. And the problem is tribalism. Now, if we live in denial that we do not live a tribalistic way of life, that our minds and our actions are not directed by tribalism, then we will never sort out the problem. When you say there are conflicts in Lamu, there are conflicts in Mandera and Marsabit of late, you know, this thing was foreseeable. When we were promulgating the new constitution, devolving power and devolving resources, we should have foreseen that this devolution has two aspects. The positive aspect, which is taking resources to the people on the ground, but it could also have negative aspects, and that is devolving marginalization, devolving discrimination, devolving oppression of the minority by the majority.
And I have to take you up on that immediately, because that is something that has been debated up to now, especially, for example, presidential appointments, because this is really what is given as an instance of what can really show what the face of Kenya is. And President Uhuru Kenyatta has been criticized widely for appointments which do not reflect the face of Kenya and also which do not reflect gender parity. What's your take on this?
President Uhuru Kenyatta, I don't think, has made major military or security appointments since he became president. He, as a matter of fact, without defending him, he, as a matter of fact, inherited, on the whole, the security apparatus as it is. Now, there are two ways of dealing with this. Either you deal with it the way NAC did, or deal with it the way the current government is dealing with it. When NAC came in 2003, they more or less swept away most of senior military, police, and civil servants from the community that from the community that the president then departing came from. And it was a very painful exercise, at least painful to those who lost their jobs. Because some of them were young, and a lot of them were doing their jobs as well as they should.
What would be sensible?
What would be a sensible thing is that accept the situation the way it is, but yes, opportunities will arise, either because of retirement or death or even resignations or creation of other new positions. Then as those opportunities arise, address the imbalance. This organization, for example, has been doing audits on the main government. It's completed, done on universities. It's now doing on counties to find out whether there are imbalances that need to be addressed. And they should be addressed. Do we have the legal muscle to do that? We might not just have that. I actually hope that when we do present an amendment to Parliament of the NCIC Act, we should be able to get some legal authority to actually deal with those people in a much more severe manner than just highlighting the mistakes they have made. And indeed, we are working at amendments in that act so that A, we align it to the Constitution, and B, to seek to get some teeth, some teeth to bite.
How will you deal with hate speech among the Wananchi, let alone politicians, those people who meet down there? Because quite frankly, that is what initially led to what happened in 2007. Some of those politicians were there when we were killing each other. Onyango versus Wambua versus Kimayo. How will you deal with them to accept each other?
Since February, I've been trying to help in reconciling communities. And the greatest war was being fought in the social media, in Facebook, in Twitter, and recently in WhatsApp. Those are becoming major.
I'm impressed you're familiar with WhatsApp.
I am on WhatsApp.
Fantastic.
Huh?
You know how they circulate in there.
I know how they do it.
And youths are very dangerous.
And the kind of pictures they send in WhatsApp, gory pictures, when there have been tribal warfare and somebody has been butchered.
Yeah.
We are going to make a beginning to thoroughly look at the problems associated with social media and its potential to destroy this country and us.
All said and done, it boils down to execution. As NCIC, do you feel you have the resources to fully implement your agenda and deliver results?
Absolutely not. We don't have the resources not only to fully execute our mandate, but even to try to execute it. We don't have the resources to do that. We don't have human resources. We have a very skeleton staff. If we talk about under 50 staff, both professional and support, to serve the whole country on a mandate as wide as this, then obviously we are joking. What we need is for this country to fund an organization that has to help its citizens not to destroy themselves. My friend, you cannot enjoy freedom when we are dead. You have to be alive to enjoy freedom. Let's try to be alive, all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.